Hello guys, welcome back. Now in this session we are going to discuss about bivariate analysis. So let's start our discussion. So guys, what is bivariate analysis is? So far we have seen that univariate analysis where we are analyzing our data set on a single variable. But when we are talking about bivariate analysis, then we are talking about analyzing our data set on the basis of two variables. So that means we want to identify the relationship between two variables within our data set. So as you already aware that we are having two types of variable. One is the continuous variable and the categorical variable. Now when we are doing the bivariate analysis, we can perform the bivariate analysis in these three. The first, we can perform bivariate analysis on continuous versus continuous. That means our both variable is the continuous variable. Second scenario, we will perform the bivariate analysis on categorical versus categorical. So that means both variable is categorical variable. And the third one is categorical versus continuous, where one variable is a categorical variable and another variable is the continuous variable. And in this process, we are trying to identify the relationship between the predictor variable with the target variable. So why is it so? It is because we wanted to identify that how our target variable is behaving whenever a predictor variable is changing, so that we can identify the relationship between predictor variable and target variable, and that variable we can consider it for predictive modeling. In our housing price example, we are going to see all these three kind of bivariate analysis. So to perform the bivariate analysis, we have to learn about how it is being performed. So let's discuss about that. So first we will discuss that how we can perform continuous versus continuous, means how we can analyze two variables which is of continuous type and how do we can identify the relationship between these two variable if my predictor is also a continuous variable and if my target is also a continuous variable. And this is the same scenario we are having. So to perform the bivariate analysis, you have to use scatter plot. So we will draw the scatter plot, and with the help of a scatter plot we will come to know that which variable is having a strong relationship between the target variable. And the diagram which you are seeing it over here, that is the representation of the scatter plot, and this kind of thing you will get within the scatter plot. And what is the meaning of it? Suppose if you are getting such kind of a plot for two variables, then that means that it is a strongly positive correlation. So if you are changing x, then y is also changing, and this is what it is representing. Now suppose if you are getting such kind of a diagram, so it means that it is a moderate positive correlation. Next, suppose you are getting this kind of diagram or plot, then it means that there is no correlation exist between two variables, that is predictor variable as well as target variable. There no relationship exist. So what it means? It means that if you are doing any changes within the x, then it is not affecting the y. So what it means? If you are doing any kind of a change within the predictor variable, it is not affecting the x. So that means it is not having any correlation. So we can either drop that variable and we will not utilize that variable in our predictive model. So upper three diagram is the example of the positive correlation. Now suppose if you are having below 3 diagram in your plot, so that means it is negatively correlated and it is negatively affecting each other. If you are doing some changes in x, then y is also affecting, but in a negative manner. One point to remember, I will tell it over here, is that a correlation should be positive or negative. So when you perform the calculation of the correlation, you will get the result either in positive value or negative value. So it means that your x and y is related with each other. In some scenario the relationship is in positive manner and in some scenario it is negative manner. So that means if you are doing certain changes in x, so y is completely behaving differently, but some changes is happening. And if you are having a strongly negative correlation, then you will get this diagram. And if you have curvilinear relationship, then you are getting such kind of a curve within the diagram. So guys, this is about the plot to identify the relationship between continuous versus continuous. But there is a formula by which you can calculate the correlation, and with the basis of this correlation formula you are able to identify the correlation value. And within pandas it offers us core method to identify the correlation, which we will look into when we do the lab. So guys, this is about the continuous versus continuous. There is another type of bivariate analysis that is called categorical versus categorical. So that means we want to identify the relationship between two categorical variables. So how we can do that? So to perform that, we are going to use frequency table, where we will compare the occurrence of one group versus the occurrence of another group. And to analyze this, we will be using the bar chart for categorical versus categorical bivariate data analysis. Apart from bar chart, there is certain test that is called chi-square test, that is a statistical way of performing the bivariate analysis on categorical versus categorical data. And the formula for chi-square is this one. Now this is about the categorical versus categorical. There is last category which we perform the bivariate analysis, that is categorical versus continuous. For this we are going to use box plot, and where if you look into this diagram which we have already drawn in one of our session, and here you will see that here we are identifying the different types of vehicle class and their number of observations. And if you remember this plot, this is the plot of highway mileage consumption by vehicle class. So to do the bivariate analysis between the categorical versus continuous, then we use this box plot, where you can easily identify that the relationship between the continuous variable with the categorical variable, or say categorical variable with the continuous variable. And if you want to mathematically perform the bivariate analysis on categorical variable versus the continuous variable, then you have to perform the Z test and the T test. Both tests are similar, but the difference between Z test and T test are how many number of observation or how many number of cases you are having. If you are having less than 30 cases, then you will perform T test. And the formula to perform the T test and the Z test is this one. And the best part of Python, using Python, is that we are having a stats model library that will help us to provide all this Z test and T test. So this is how you perform the bivariate analysis on categorical versus continuous data. And this is what I wanted to let you know in this session. In the next session, what we are going to do, we are going to perform all the thing what we have learned over here in a lab, and we are going to perform all this thing in the same example which we have been following from the last session, that is housing fries. So on this note, I am stopping over here. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye, take care.